Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Lily. I'm so happy that you are here with me. In today's video, I am working on a brand new design team project in collaboration with Ibette from Tu Casa de Papel. I will have so much more information in the description area below regarding her Etsy shop, her YouTube channel, and a link to the digitals that we are going to be working with today. I'm going to give you a brief look at the digitals that we will be working with today. Let me put them over on this side. I've got some sun rays coming in. And once I flip the camera over, I'm going to show you all of the pages one by one. But these are so stinking cute. These are beautiful paper origami dresses. Her kit is called Quinceañera, meaning like sweet 16. These are fantastic, and let me tell you why. So this weekend, we will be celebrating one of my granddaughter's 15th birthday, and my daughter has planned a huge, beautiful quinceañera for her, and I can't wait. I am preparing this video like the day before, and I'm trying to get in as many things as I possibly can because I know with the celebration and then everything that comes with it, I probably won't be able to edit, record, and do things like that for a couple days. Yeah, so I will show you those in just a moment. They are absolutely beautiful. It is called Quinceañera, and I will list it right here. And I will also have a direct link and a discount code so that you can hop on over to her Etsy shop so that you can make these beautiful junk journal tags, or maybe you want to use them as gift tags. They're gorgeous. And let me show you one of them. Let me come over here. There's that ray of sunshine coming through. Look at how gorgeous this right here is, the paper origami dress. I'm going to go through all of the steps on how to cut and how to fold this beautiful little quinceañera dress. There are 5 designs in the kit. And then I've added tons of embellishments. I went through my stash and I picked out flowers, embellishments, ribbons, trim, just all kinds of things, and I will go over all of those details in just a moment. So here is one of them, so stinking cute. I made a whole bunch, and I'll show you those in just a second, but here's a brief look. They are so, so pretty. Look at these. These can be used so many different ways. The way that I plan on using them is attaching them to a gift bag or a wrapped present, and then doing a sentiment on the reverse side. They are dimensional, but you can also put these in a junk journal or a planner. If you don't mind the bulk, I don't mind the bulk. I like for my junk journals to be nice and chunky, so these are going to be perfect for that as well. But gift giving, these will be absolutely perfect. So here is another one. There is this one. And then let me show you what the base of this was. I took packaging, and these are pretty large packaging tags. This is I think this is what held transfer sheets or stickers or something. And so I took these, and this is the base of the tag. And then I collaged over it. I used collage tissue, and then I also used scraps of paper and also some transfers to work on the background. Let me show you again really quick. And again, all of those details, I'm going to go through all of those details in just a moment, but you can kind of see the background here. I used some vintage music paper and then also some of that tissue to collage on top of that tag. And then I also used a little bit more of the vintage scrap music paper to collage some of the markings that were on the back of the tag. So yeah, we're going to go through all of that. This was the prototype, and I had somewhat of an idea, and then I had to start with one, so I put it all down, and it took me a minute to play around with it, with adding embellishments. So if you are struggling with a project, but you kind of have an idea as to what you want to create, put it down, start working on it, because once you have something tangible, you'll be able to evolve and change it from there. But you need to start somewhere. And who knows, maybe your first design was executed just perfect, right? Well, for me, not so much. And so I put it all down, but then once I had something tangible to work with, I was able to see and envision exactly what I wanted to do by adding embellishments and paint and gold splatters, the things that I typically work with to make it my own. give it my own personal touch. Okay, you guys get it? All right. So why don't we get started? I'm going to turn the camera over. I'm going to show you all of the supplies that I'm going to use. And we are going to make 2 of these beautiful junk journal tags or gift tags. You guys ready? Let's go. Let's begin with the prototype once again. And this is how it all started. The base of this tag, I actually used acrylic paint, and I was playing around with the supplies. And then once I was able to put everything down, I had more clarity as to the vision and what I wanted in the finished project. But the first one, I kind of used a little bit of acrylic paint, a lot more of the gold wax, and then once I put all of these things together, I was able to move forward and easily create the subsequent tags. And all of these designs are so beautiful. There are 5 different colors. You have 2 shades of pink, a light blue, a purple, and then also a teal or aquamarine blue. And I created 2 of the aquamarine blue. The first one was the prototype, and then the last one I'll show you in just a moment, also aquamarine blue. There are different little accessories that come along with the digital kits in the printables. Not only do you get the dress forms and then the bows and the bouquet of flowers, but there's also other elements like a crown, and one of them has a large hat, a sombrero, and then also cute little hands that you can apply right in the center, and so it appears as though she's holding onto the bow or even the bouquet of flowers. And then you can see all of the other cute embellishments that I added to adorn the tags. They are quite dimensional, and I could have kept going. I could have added more and more things, but I did go through my supplies and pull out coordinating items that I thought would look great with the tags. I rolled the corner of this one a little bit just to kind of give it a worn, distressed, or vintage look. Just pointing out at the bottom of this one, I used a combination of the tissue and also music paper. I'm going to go through all of the steps, but next up, I'm going to give you a clear view of what the digital kit looks like. You get 5 digital printouts plus 1 instruction sheet. I didn't print out the instruction sheet. I should have, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Ibette has a very thorough video as to how to fold these origami paper dresses, and she does it so well, I will attempt to explain how to fold these. It is easy, not at all difficult, but I will link her video down below so you can go give her a visit and follow her very detailed instructions, and then I'll go through it here as well. So see, I pointed out some of the flower crowns, some of the sombreros, all of those other little accessories and elements that come into this kit. You can use them all. You can pick and choose what you want to use. I used the dresses, I used the bouquet of flowers, and I used the bows. I did cut out all of the cute little accessories, but I didn't use them all. Some of them because I forgot. Or they just got hidden on my desk, because you should see what the perimeter of my craft mat looks like. So I've got all kinds of things going on. And these are some of the really cute elements and embellishments that I went searching for in my craft stash. I pulled out a lot of stickers, transfers, and here is a collage tissue that I have used for the very first time. This is something I've had for a few years. You know, I buy supplies and I plan on using them, and then they get stored away and I don't use them. So I went through everything and pulled out things that I haven't ever used. And that was important to me, to try to bring those supplies out and incorporate them in newer projects. And as you know, I repurpose packaging. I have made similar tags in the past, not using the origami paper dresses, but using the packaging as the base of these very large tags. I'm pointing out that I will have her video linked down below so you can hop on over and give her a watch. The very first thing that we will be doing is cutting out all of the elements from the digital pages. And I'm following the form at the bottom. There is, like a ruffle down at the bottom. So I'm just following that curve line and then cutting out all of the pieces. We are working on 2 separate cards, and so I have jumped ahead and cut out 2 of the paper dresses and all of the accessories that go with it. So we're going to work on one. I'm going to set the other aside. Step 1, we are going to begin to fold. Step 1, we are going to fold towards the back vertically. We're going to line up those edges. And then after we do this first fold, we're going to unfold it and then fold into the back. So I'm going to flip it over to the reverse side. I'm going to take the edges and fold it into that center fold. And you want to line up the bottom portion of the dress right down that center crease. You'll notice that the sleeves are going to overlap, and that's okay. We want to make sure that the bottom half is lined up right at the center. So bring it into that center fold. Notice how the sleeves will overlap, and that is okay. And now we're going to flip it right side up. We will then have a crease on the left side and the right side of the center. We're going to bring in those creases, that fold on either side of the center. And we're going to pinch it slightly and bring it in to the center. So both of those creases are going to line up down that center fold. So just kind of pinch it at the edges and bring it in. And once you have it lined up down the center, you will be able to flatten out and commit to that fold. So line up the top half. That's the important part. You want to bring in the sleeves right to the center. You'll be covering up Tu Casa de Papel's logo, and then hold it down and then crease and flatten out the bottom. But you want to make sure that the top half is really lined up. The bottom half will line up, but that bottom half, I'll show you in a moment, we are going to open up. Now flip it over to the back, and we're going to fold back those upper corners. And this is the opposite side of the neckline. So we're going to flatten that out so that when we flip it around again, we'll be able to fold back the little tabs at the top of the dress neckline. So you'll open up that little pocket and then flatten it out. And then once you've done that, you'll flip it back over to its right side. And at the very top, you'll see the pink little tabs at the very top. And you're going to fold those back. I'm using my finger as a guide so it can easily fold the paper back. And it's going to create a V-shaped neckline. Do the same thing on the right-hand side. Use your index finger as a guide to fold back that little tab. And now you have formed your V neckline. Next, we are going to focus on the bottom half. There are 2 markings right in the center of the dress, and there are some dotted lines there. We are going to fold those lines. First, we're going to fold the bottom half line just in half, and then unfold it. We're just going to create a crease, and we're going to pinch it slightly because we're going to bring it up to the upper line, that upper dash. And it's very hard to tell here on screen, but there are some very light markings where you will be able to line up those two edges. And this is important because this is what is going to create the skirt of the dress, and it'll allow you to open it up and create a couple more creases into the dress. So with your left hand, you're going to hold up that upper portion of the dress skirt, and then very gently with your right hand, you're going to open it up, and then you're going to crease and flatten out. Do the same thing on the left-hand side. Hold that upper part of the skirt, and you'll have to work with the paper so as you don't tear it. Kind of give it like a roll to open it up. Then once you have it positioned where you want, then press it down flat, and that gives you those extra creases to open up the dress skirt. Those top corners, we are going to fold back in a diagonal. So we are going to fold it over just slightly and give it like a diagonal corner fold. It'll be a little bit wider at the top, and you'll want to meet with the bottom edge of the skirt. Just a tiny, tiny fold. So position your paper and then commit to that crease. And this just cleans up the edges. So when you flip it around, it looks nice and finished and tailored. It's so cute. Super easy. I have never created anything like this, and I had so much fun playing with these dress forms. They actually remind me of when I was a little girl. Do you remember the Barbie dresses? Those were so much fun. You had a Barbie or a paper doll, and then you had a booklet that accompanied the paper doll, and you would punch out or cut out the dress forms, and they had little tabs that you would dress the paper doll with. That's what this reminds me of. I'm new to origami. It's not something that I've played around with, but creating all of these folds to create like magical paper forms, it's amazing. So I think this project is so much fun. And so we're doing the same thing to the second one. I thought I'd give you a second visual. Again, bringing in those creases, and we are going to line them up in the center. Focus on the top half where the sleeves are, because you want to make sure that those are lined up perfectly. And then once you meet the top half, then the rest of it will flow. I want to talk about the paper that I'm using. For this example here, I used regular copy paper. It is much thinner, and it was actually easier to work with. In the examples that I made beforehand, I used the HP premium cardstock, that heavier weight cardstock. And it's the one that I typically use for all of my digitals. And the weight for that one, gosh, I can't remember off the top of my head. It is, and I have it right here in front of me. It is HP Premium. Is it 30? Oh my goodness, I apologize. But I will have that information in the description area below. But I recommend just plain copy paper. It's a lot more lightweight. Any heavier than that, when you fold, it may tear because it's heavier. So just use plain copy paper. And then folding out the skirt and then bringing it up to that upper marking. They're very subtle, but once you print them out, once you look at the actual digitals, you'll be able to see the guides where that serve as an indicator for where you will be folding the top half of that skirt. And the same again, we will be opening up the skirt, making it nice and wide. Then I take my finger underneath the paper, and I'm kind of rolling the paper over my hand or my fingers so that I'm kind of guiding that paper over. And then once I have it exactly where I want it, then I can commit to that crease. These are so stinking cute. And after I worked on these, I had ideas to be able to work with these in other projects as well. But I think they will be perfect as gift tags. finishing off the edges to the skirt. And once all those folds are in place, you have now completed your beautiful little dresses. Love how they turned out. So the next step, we are going to be working on the base of the tags. So if you save packaging, take your packaging and we are going to collage over this. So it's not so plain. We want to create more dimension, more interest, and use the supplies that you have. I happen to have some of these transfers from Dollar Tree. I have a couple of these left. Every once in a while, I will go into the Dollar Tree in hopes that they have restocked on these transfer sheets. But you know, I haven't seen them, and these are a couple years old. But any other type of transfer will work. You can also stamp. Use a rubber stamps to create a background. I am trimming off the excess, but I won't throw those little pieces away. I can save them to use in other projects. And I will show you two different ways that I created backgrounds. So we'll start with this one using the transfer. And then I will work on the second one and then do collage with vintage music paper and then using the Tim Holtz collage tissue. So placing my transfer over the tag, and then I'll take a little wooden popsicle stick and rub the transfer over. It doesn't take very long to do this. It took me under a minute, but I edited that part out. And just gently go over the entire image. When you begin to peel back the plastic lining, you'll want to do it slowly and carefully, because if you missed an area, like if it didn't transfer completely, you want to be able to place that plastic over it again and then give it an extra little rub. But this one actually worked after I rubbed it all in place. And then I'll just go over it with my hand to make sure that it is all pressed and sealed, ready for the next step. Those are so beautiful, and how perfect those spring transfers are for these dresses. Okay, we're going to collage the second tag, and I'm just going to take a little bit of the vintage music paper, only to cover that top portion, the top portion of the packaging tag. If you have packaging tags that are extra large, you can always trim them down. If you don't have some of these packaging tags, you can also use cardstock. You can use actual tags if you have those. You can use manila folder. You can repurpose cardboard from cereal boxes to create your own base. I'm just going to glue that over. I am going to cover over the opening, but then in a little bit I'll show you. I'm just going to take my hole punch and I'm going to punch a hole right through where that top notch is. I'm going to take a little bit more of that vintage music paper and just cover up the markings that are on the back of the tag. You do have the option to completely decorate the back of the tag, but I'm leaving this as an open space to write down a sentiment, especially if you are going to be using these for gifts. You can write your sentiment on the reverse side. If you plan on using these in your junk journal, then you can always journal on the reverse of these tags. So many different ways to use these. I also thought about clipping them and using them as bunting to decorate maybe your craft room, maybe even a little girl's room. Wouldn't that be cute? So now just cutting a piece of the Tim Holtz collage tissue, and it is so pretty. I'm going to use Mod Podge to glue the tissue down. I'm using this brand of Mod Podge. It's a 64 fluid ounce container, but it's easier for me to pour some of that Mod Podge into a smaller bottle It just makes it easier to work with. And by the way, that is a repurposed art glitter glue bottle. And I'm going to use a silicone spatula to spread the Mod Podge. It is so easy, and cleanup, especially cleanup, is going to be so easy. I do have a collage brush, but the collage brush, after use, I have to immediately wash it so that it doesn't stiffen with the glue. And so I prefer to use this spatula because the cleanup is just so much easier. And I don't have to worry about the bristles hardening with that glue or having to stop what I'm doing and go over to the kitchen sink to wash out my brush. So this is what I recommend. And this spatula I picked up either at Dollar Tree or at Hobby Lobby. So they always have some of these rubber spatulas. And just very carefully smoothing over the Mod Podge. This collage tissue was super easy to work with. It's thin, but not as delicate as using paper napkins. But if you don't have this type of collage paper, you can use napkins to collage on the packaging. So now that we have the two, I will begin to decorate, and I'm kind of looking and making sure that my colors coordinate with the background. The background colors don't vary, but I want to make sure that they look good. So now just kind of positioning, playing around with the placement. But before I commit and I start gluing things down, there is another step to the dresses that we need to work on. There were these ribbon strips in your digitals that we are going to use and create a ruffle at the very bottom of the tag. And that just gives it such a beautiful detail to that dress, gives it more interest and more dimension. So I'm going to create some pleats, and I'm folding to the left and then folding to the right to create, and I didn't measure the folds at all. I just kind of winged it and thought, well, I hope it fits the length of the skirt. You can always pull it. You can scrunch it up to make it smaller or tug on it a little bit to make it a little bit wider. And I'm going to do the same with the second one. And again, just creating some pleats. This can also be used as like washi strips. So these are really cute. There's so many other things you can use these little extras other than just, decorating your dresses. But these are little pieces that you can use for anything. So I'm going to fold in the edges of the ruffle just to give it a smoother finish. And I'm going to flip the dresses over, and I'm going to add adhesive at the bottom of the dress. The ones that I first started creating off camera, I used glue stick, and I also used a wet glue. But I thought I'd give this one a try. I have this tear tape, and it was actually easier to use the tear tape to position the ruffle trim. And I'm going to begin by first placing the left-hand side of the ruffle trim and attaching it to the glue strip on the left-hand side. And then glue the edge to the right-hand side, and I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. And it just went by so much faster and so much easier, and we don't have to wait for a drying time because the tear tape adheres instantly. So take one of the edges and then match it up to the left edge. Take the left edge and match it up to the left edge of the dress. And now, without gluing the center part, you're going to glue down the right side. Then once you have the left and the right in position, then you will press down the rest of the ruffle trim. And it worked out perfectly. And I'll do the same thing with the second dress. Place it, and I'm doing about halfway through. So I'm gluing it so you could see half of it is being glued to the dress so that the other half can show on the opposite side. And that turned out I just love the way that little ruffle trim turned out. And this is the fun part. This is where I begin to glue down all of the little pieces onto the background, onto the tag. And I know I was a little bit bummed about having to glue over those cute little birds, but I have to remember that it's the background, and it still gives it so much beautiful interest and dimension. So don't be afraid when you're creating layers in a project. Don't be afraid to cover up some of the design that is going to be part of that background. Because either way, it's going to look beautiful once you are done. I'm taking some of these foam squares to add some dimension to that dress. I didn't do this to start with, but after I started working on the second and the third one, I wanted to add a little bit more of that dimension to the dress. And that's when I decided to use some of these foam squares. These are so old that they were no longer sticky, and so I had to take some of the ultimate glue so that they would adhere to the tag. And when I say they're old, they are old, maybe even, 8 to 10 years old. I'm trying to use up all of the supplies, you guys. I'm going to take some of the paper flowers, and this is an array of flowers. Some of them are Prima Marketing flowers. Others are flowers I've picked up at different craft stores. I'm always on the lookout for flowers, especially when they're on sale. And these little bouquets are so cute, these little rosebuds. So I'm going to use varying sizes. You can also use floral stickers and even die cuts for your dresses. But I just love the dimension that these flowers add to the tag. I could use the ultimate glue to attach the flowers, but I wanted these to dry instantly, and therefore I am using my hot glue gun. And this is a low temp glue gun. And in the second tag, I'm going to use some of those cute little satin ribbon flowers. Those are going to look so cute, kind of tucked into the larger flowers. I'll show you that in just a moment. There are cute little bows that I cut out from the digital kit, and I'm adding them to the sides of the waist, that part of the dress. I almost forgot to add them, so I had to lift one of those flowers. Fortunately, it hadn't completely dried, so I was able to tuck in that bow underneath. And I'm only gluing at the top, just so it appears like there's more movement at the bottom of those little bows. I don't use my hot glue gun very much, especially when I'm creating junk journals or junk journal ephemera. But because these can also be used outside of my junk journal projects, I decided to go ahead and use the glue gun. But use whatever adhesive you have. The ultimate glue works really well, especially for heavier embellishments. You can use the ultimate glue for metal, glass, wood, acrylic, plastic. It works so well. If you are interested in that glue, I do have an Amazon affiliate link, and I will have that in the description area. I also have in my Amazon storefront a lot of the different tools that I use in most of my videos. So if you do make a purchase from my Amazon affiliate link, thank you in advance. I do earn a small commission, but that does not impact you at all. I'm going to further embellish with some of these cute little acrylic butterflies. And I picked these up while I was in California in the month of March. I went down to a discount store, which is very similar to like a Dollar Tree, just a discount store, and they had all of these cute embellishments, and I thought these butterflies were pretty. The adhesive came off of the butterfly, but I'm able to use the ultimate glue to attach those. And it really doesn't take very long for the ultimate glue to dry. It grabs onto the embellishment immediately, and it may take, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes for it to completely dry. So now we're going to work on this second one. And now for this one, I'm going to show you options. So if you don't have the foam squares to add dimension to your paper dresses, I'm going to show you what else you can use. I'm going to take some fun foam, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to use it in just a moment. So curling up that edge to give it a more distressed, little worn vintage look. And I want to also add dimension to this dress. So I happen to have some just scraps of fun foam. These are also perfect to adding to your projects to give a little bit more height to your embellishments. So I'm going to cut out some of these pieces. They don't have adhesive, but the ultimate glue works great for attaching the fun foam. Then I'll add a little bit of fun foam. It is a heavier glue, and so I want to make sure that I spread it evenly with my spatula. Otherwise, the globs of glue will show through on the other side of the dress because it is a thicker glue. So just make sure when you use this with thinner papers that you really spread it out so that you don't see those glue markings on the opposite side. And so this is a great way to add more height to your embellishments. I started using fun foam back when I was making cards, greeting cards, when I started greeting cards maybe 20, 25 years ago. And to give the card fronts some dimension, I was using the fun foam. Adding those cute little bows to the waist of the little dress. And now I'm going to go through my little paper flowers. This process took me a little bit because the more flowers I have, the harder it was to commit to flowers because they all look so beautiful. And so I did edit out the time that it took me to finally decide on flowers. So I'm going to skip forward to the selection I finally made in just a moment. But thank you to Carla for sending me these cute little ribbon flowers in Happy Mail. Thank you so much. And they look so pretty tucked in under the paper flowers. And then of course I added some to the bows that were right at the waistline. Instead of using the acrylic butterflies on this card, I'm taking some sticker butterflies that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. Also, some of my other favorite stickers from Dollar Tree. And whenever I'm in the Dollar Tree, I'm always searching for these butterfly stickers. You could also use die cuts. I have die cuts as well. Use what you have. I happen to have these hole reinforcers, just extras that I have left over from other projects. And now I'm going to take a regular office supply hole punch, and I'm going to add a hole right in the center. This one already has that notch, so I'm going to use that as a guide. And then I'll add my little hole reinforcer over that hole punch to thread some ribbons through it. I'm going to use this corner punch to give the tag more of a tag look by just trimming off those top corners. I should have done this before placing the butterfly sticker, but it has low tack, and so I was able to peel it off and then trim that corner. If you do not have a corner punch, no worries. You can also just take a pair of scissors and trim the corners off that way. Use your supplies, use whatever you have. The best part is when you're able to use new, old, and junky items to create beautiful things. These sentiment stickers I've had for many, many, many years, maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 years. These were purchased at the Dollar Tree when I was living in California. And they're kind of old, and they don't have a lot of sticky anymore. But I also want to add some dimension to these sentiments. So I'm going to use these very thin foam strips. Again, you could also use some of that fun foam to add height to your sentiments. Whenever I get a chance to use gold embellishments, I will do so. It is my favorite thing to do. Whether it's gold wax, gold embellishments, or even gold splatters, which I'm actually going to do for these tags, I will always try and do so. These sentiments were so fitting for these tags, so I'm lucky that I still had a few of those. Okay, this is my favorite step. You know how I like to add gold shine to almost everything that I create. I probably have about a teaspoon of this left in that little bottle. And I'm just going to add some splatters to it. And I do have gold metallic watercolor paint. I have a gold acrylic paint. And I have a gold ink that I've used for splatters. I had to go and find a substitute because I know that I will be out of the Heidi Swapp Gold Shine soon. So I wanted to make sure that I had other choices, because just adding splatters is my favorite thing to do. I went through my ribbons and my trims, and I grabbed a few of them. I grabbed some velvet glitter trim, and then some fuzzy little yarn, and then some eyelash trim. I wanted to make sure that the ribbon looked just as cute, that it would be a nice addition to the pretty dresses, making everything cohesive. These are the tags. I sure hope that you enjoyed this. Don't forget to use my code Lily20 at Ibette's Tu Casa de Papel's Etsy shop. And I hope you enjoyed this project. Let me know if you plan on working on these. Stick around. I am going to flip the camera over in just a second, just so I can say thank you and goodbye. Stick around. Thank you so much for being here with me today and creating these beautiful tags. Don't forget, I will have Ibette's Tu Casa de Papel's Etsy shop and her YouTube channel linked down below, and then also a direct link to this beautiful Quinceañera digital printable. So my daughter walked in my craft room as I was working on these, and so she asked, "What are you working on, Mom? Are those cute little dresses?" I said, "Yeah," and so I showed her this one. And she says, "Oh my gosh, Mom, that is such a pretty Frida dress." She didn't know that they were quinceañera dresses. And I said, "You know what? It does look like a Frida dress, doesn't it?" So you can use these dresses however you like. They are quinceañera dresses, but if you want to give these a little Frida theme after her idea, then you could definitely do that. They're going to turn out so stinking cute. I appreciate you being here. If you are here for the first time, please subscribe, stick around. I would love to have you here. You guys are awesome, and I will see you next time. Bye.